The Jeffrey Epstein scandal continues to haunt the powerful. In a Senate hearing that was already tense, the subject of the infamous client list caused a political explosion. Senator Dick Durbin accused Attorney General Pam Bondi of a publicity stunt, claiming she lied to the American people about having the list, but the Attorney General fired back with a stunning personal accusation, linking the senator to a major Epstein associate and accusing him of hypocrisy. What followed was one of the most raw and personal clashes seen on Capitol Hill in years. For years, the public has demanded the release of Jeffrey Epstein's full flight logs and client list. In February, Attorney General Pam Bondi made a public claim that the Epstein client list was sitting on my desk right now for review. However, no such list was ever produced. In a Senate Judiciary hearing, Senator Dick Durbin decided to confront her about this claim. But he likely didn't anticipate the explosive counterattack from Bondi, which brought in another senator and a billionaire tech donor with ties to Epstein. The confrontation began with Senator Durbin's accusation that the Attorney General had misled the public.
I want to ask you about items in a letter I sent you in July that you have not answered. In February, you made a public claim that the Epstein client list was, quote, sitting on my desk right now for review, end of quote. You then produced already public information and no client list at a major media event hosted at the White House. Attorney General Bondi, why did you publicly claim to have the Epstein client list waiting for your review and then produce nothing relevant to that claim?
Instead of defending her statement, Attorney General Bondi launched a blistering personal attack, questioning Durbin's own motives regarding the Epstein case.
And, you know, Senator Durbin, I find it very interesting that you refused repeated Republican requests to release the Epstein flight logs in 2023 and 2024. You fought that. Did you take money from Reid Hoffman, campaign donations, who was a huge Epstein friend? Why did you fight for years? Why did you fight to not disclose the flight logs, Senator Durbin?
The exchange then devolved into a chaotic three-way argument.
I can tell you I did not refuse. One of the senators here wished to produce those logs, and I asked her to put it in writing, and she never did.
Yeah, I think Senator Blackburn would quarrel with you on that.
Well, I will quarrel with you as to Reid, somebody that you mentioned I never heard of.
Reid Hoffman.
So who gave the order to flag records related to President Trump?
To flag records for President Trump?
To flag any records which included his name.
I'm not going to discuss anything about that with you, Senator.
Eventually, you're going to have to answer for your conduct in this. And you won't do it today, but eventually you will. I yield, Mr. Chairman.
I got
Mr. Chairman,
something here.
Mr. Chairman,
Pam.
Mr. Chairman, since Senator Durbin referred to me, I would really appreciate the opportunity to correct the record.
Proceed.
Because Senator Durbin knows I repeatedly asked for those flight logs. I brought up the subpoena. You even shut down the committee because you didn't want that, and you know I submitted that in writing, and you continue to misrepresent that, and I am not going to let that record stand.
This was pure political combat. Durbin's question was a direct challenge to Bondi's credibility. But Bondi's counterattack was a textbook example of how to turn defense into offense. By bringing up Reid Hoffman, a major Democratic donor with documented ties to Epstein, she wasn't just deflecting. She was practicing a political art known as oppo-dump in real time. She implied that Durbin's reluctance to release the flight logs was not procedural, but was potentially influenced by a tainted campaign donation. This forced Durbin onto the defensive. The intervention by Senator Blackburn, accusing Durbin of misrepresenting the facts, was the final blow, turning the entire hearing against him in that moment. This explosive exchange shows just how toxic the Epstein legacy remains. While politicians trade accusations and counter-accusations about who is hiding what, the American people are still left with the same question they've had for years. Where is the full story? This hearing may not have brought us closer to the truth about Jeffrey Epstein, but it gave us a stunning, unfiltered look at how the powerful fight when their own credibility is on the line. What did you think of this exchange? Was Bondi's counterattack a fair move or a desperate deflection? Let us know.